Hello, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com. I want to talk about something we all kind of get around, whether we want to or not, and that's idiots. And there's all different kinds of idiots, and that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to start talking about the different kinds and how you can tell them apart and this type of stuff. But anyway, let's just start with just the plain idiot. And I said before, you are the average of your 5 best friends. So you look at your 5 best friends, one individual. Look at him as an individual. Look at everything about him, his whole lifestyle, the way he talks, the way he dresses, the way everything. Look at that on one of them. And just think about what kind of person this is. I mean, does he dress in rags? There's nothing wrong with dressing in rags. But, I mean, if that's what it calls for. You know, I mean, like I say, I work on a ranch, and we don't wear good stuff when we're out there on the ranch. And then when we go into town, it's the same thing. We're working on the ranch, we go into town. Now, sometimes we go into town for dinner, and we don't do ranch work that day. Well, then you can see we don't dress the same. So this is what you look at. This person dress appropriately. Is his mannerisms appropriate? That's the same thing. I mean, we're out on the ranch. Hell, we're spitting, we're cussing, we're doing all kinds of stuff. But we're not like that when we're around folk, you know. So, and then, like I say, I can see the same guy. He's my friend, and like I say, when we go to town, he doesn't act the same. We'll go to town maybe to eat or something like that. Or maybe it's one of these days we don't really do the ranching stuff, so then we dress better. And like I say, so I mean, so the dress part you have to kind of watch and think. Well, all of it you have to think about. And it'd be the same thing like here. Well, none of my friends wear a suit, but like I say, you do the same thing if your friends are suit people, you know. So, or a uniform people. I mean, like I say, like if they're in law enforcement, you know, then they're wearing a uniform, you know, or if they're a nurse, they're wearing a uniform. And so, you know, the dress is one thing, but you have to look at the whole part. Look at their mannerisms, look at all this type of stuff. And it doesn't even have anything to do with their education. I mean, their formal education. It doesn't have anything to do with that. So you look at that individual friend of yours, and you see, and then you look at him, and then look at yourself, and realize you are just like him in some ways. And those are what you should be doing, or at least what I do anyway. Like I say, I've got some really good friends that are really, there's something about them that I really like. That's why they're my friend. And that's what I try to copy from them, is what I see, what I admire from them, is what I try to copy from them. And see, and really we all do the same thing, and that's called peer pressure. And no, when we're little kids, the peer pressure is more of a social kind of a thing and stuff like that. But as you mature, your peer pressure is a little different. It's people you, like I say, you respect, you admire, you want to be like them, and that's the first thing. And then as you gain this friendship, it ends up you try to do things for them, and they try to do things for you. That's what makes it a friendship. And that's what I'm saying. That's why it's important that you take one of your friends and figure out all the stuff that you like about them and this type of stuff. And then if it turns out and then you do the same thing with your other friend and your other friend and your other friend, and you will see you've got characteristics of your 5 best friends. Now, you're not going to be carbon copy of each one of them, but there's going to be certain things that you like about them, and that's what you're going to copy. Okay, and now that's the good part. Now, you look at there's people that their friends aren't too good. They don't really benefit from their friends. They're more likely to try to fit in with their friends. Now, if you're trying to fit in with your friends, that's probably not a good. Well, it's not a friendship. Because a friendship goes both sides. If you're trying to fit in, no, you're just trying to get into the crowd, and so it's a whole lot different. And that is where the idiot comes from. And like I say, let's say you're with 2 of your good friends, and then you have somebody trying to come in with your 2 friends and you. There's 3 of you, and you're having dinner, you're having drinks, you're just socializing, you're just talking current events, you're talking about something like that, and then this other person comes in and he starts saying stuff, and really without nothing to back it up. I mean, it might be the same statement that he'll make, the same statement that the rest of us make, but the thing is, when he says the statement and he gives you an example, the example is, you're kind of off base on, we agree with what's wrong, but kind of, if you're using that for an example of why it's bad, that's not a good thing. And what it is, he's trying, I say, to fit in. And so he's not sincere, and he's just doing as he thinks he has to do to fit in, and that makes him an idiot. And that's why it's always better when people don't say anything. You notice there's a lot of people that seem pretty nice, but once they start talking, you figure out, this guy's kind of dumb. Well, it's not that he's dumb, he's an idiot. And the thing is, you have this in all aspects of life. And like I say, I talked about when you're little kids, you're going through this. And like I say, even as we get older, our individuality really shows. And like I say, you're drawn to people that are that you think is good. And and you'll find out, I know you've done it before, there's people you thought, oh, this is good, and as time going on, and then you find out, well, their talk is good, but they don't act the way they talk, and that puts them into an idiot kind of basis. So, and this is what I'm talking about in the way of, remember I talked about your 5 best friends. So that's how you really look for your friends, and that's how you are going to better yourself. You'll see, it's going to say, well, hey, I like those shoes. Where'd you get those shoes? And then how have those shoes been working and stuff like that. And then next thing you know, that's why you slowly in time, you end up, not only you act the same, but you start dressing the same and looking the same. So that's what I'm saying. And that's because you trust their word. And okay, I just mentioned the shoes, but still, that doesn't mean he's a shoe professional. But like I say, you trust what he says. I mean, a guy might his job might be he's on his feet all the time, and so and then you talk to him about his shoes, and he'll tell you, oh yeah, they're real comfortable and stuff like that, and this is where I got them, stuff like that. So that's what I'm saying. You will see he's got authority in some degree, even if it's the shoes, and you trust his authority because you know him personally, stuff like that. Okay, talking about that, a lot of times we are presented with someone who's got the authority, and we when we look at him as he's got the authority, the knowledge, the experience, like he knows what he's talking about, and and that's a good thing. And if you look, they will dress the part. I mean, they're trying to do everything in the way of profiling. So when you look at them, you're going to see everything that they try to dress the part. They try to act the part. Their mannerisms are that what you would expect for that kind of stuff. And they talk with knowledge, like they know their authority of that particular subject. And like I say, that is all the stuff to try to convince you that they've got the authority and on this particular subject. And what they say is words you can take it to the bank. See, in other words, I mean, it's gospel. When they tell you something, it's gospel. Now, you find that a lot in professional fields. And like I say, lawyers, they dress real spiffy. And medical, they'll have their scrubs on, or they'll have their butcher coat on, or whatever, or lab coat, or whatever they call those things. And policeman is the same thing. You'll see him with his uniform and this type of stuff. And another thing would be military.